Foundations of Business Communication by Julie Ansley. To understand business communication, let's first start with the key components of communication. The first component of communication is a need. So we'll need to determine a need to communicate, whether individually or from a corporation. For there to be a communication, there needs to be a need for that communication. Secondly, we'll talk about the sender. The sender of the message is responsible for putting together a clear and concise message to their audience. The sender is also responsible for gauging and analyzing the audience and composing a message that's going to be appropriate. The next component of communication is your actual message. Once your audience has been established and there is a need for communication, next is the message, which may be oral, written, which could be through emails, blogs, flyers, or even nonverbal communication. Then we look at the audience. The audience now receives the message that you've given to them. Each member of the audience will come from a different background with different knowledge, so each interpretation of your message will be different. The final component of communication is the response. The audience will receive your message and respond to it. Their response to your message starts the cycle of communication over again. Next, let's talk about the importance of professional communications. When you communicate on behalf of a business, you are a representative of that company, and you must adhere to a uniform style of communication for consistency and professionalism. One way to appear unified in your message is through templates. Templates help reduce grammatical and content errors, as you're not relying on each person's ability to compose a message. And templates also save companies time and money, as they're more efficient since the message is already composed and ready to go. Now that we know how to communicate and why we're communicating, next comes composing our message. The 4 components of composing your message are going to be planning, drafting, revising, and proofreading. During the planning phase, you're going to develop the content for your message and get an outline for what you're going to be saying. This might include brainstorming or clustering, just to get all of your thoughts together for your message. Next will come drafting. This is where you're actually putting your message to paper. In this phase, you're going to develop a very rough draft of your message, and the best thing you can do is just to write down anything that comes into your head, because you'll be editing it later. Next is revision. This is the phase where you review your message to improve it for the content, style, and accuracy. Finally is the proofreading. This phase includes correcting any grammatical, spelling, or technical errors within your message. Let's take a little closer look at emails. Emails is the most preferred method of communication by organizations. You want to make sure your subject is clear and appropriate, including EOM in the subject line if the entire message is in the subject line, which indicates end of message. Emails are much less formal than letters. They're efficient and immediate. You want to be sure to include your proper signature based on your company's standards.